Movie reviews. Shirley is a movie directed by Josephine Decker that I did not know I could watch until now. So like I kind of heard of this movie, but didn't actually realize that it was free to watch for me. Like I just assumed I had to rent it or something, but no, it was right there on Hulu, so I'm browsing today, decided to watch it, so it's a month late, but I'm gonna review it anyway. The plot on IMDb reads, a famous horror writer finds inspiration for her next book after she and her husband take in a young couple. So this movie is a biopic about Shirley Jackson, who was a famous writer. Gotta say, I'm not completely familiar with her. Like, I know The Lottery is a short story of hers. I know she wrote The Haunting of Hill House, which is a show that I love, but I haven't done a lot of her reading outside of what was required in school. But this movie is a biopic on her life, and it's a very interesting take because it's not done as if like her birth to her death, but it's a very specific moment in her life as she is writing a new novel. And then this young couple comes to stay with them, played by Logan Lerman and Odessa, which I would argue she is just as equally the star of this movie as Elisabeth Moss. But while they are staying with them, trying to find a new apartment as they are just newly married, having a kid for the first time, Shirley finds her inspiration for her next novel based off of them and also a missing girl in the town. So I'll just say this movie is very confusing. There's a lot of not really knowing what's going on. There's a lot of mysteries that are set up that aren't necessarily solved, and it's less about these mysteries being solved, but more so seeing the character of Shirley progress over the arc of this movie. Now I would say the same thing with Odessa. The movie really follows her emotions throughout this movie and how she is processing just ultimately being a woman. If I had to point out one theme throughout this, I would say it's femininity in a way. It doesn't like specifically address it, but there's a lot of themes about men being empowered during this time and how do you survive in this world as a woman. But honestly, besides that, this movie isn't the most enjoyable to watch. It's not a bad movie. It's just not like a fun one, I guess. Specifically the way it's shot. Like, immediately I knew something was off, and the more you watch, you can see that they're trying to make you feel uncomfortable. Which, reading other reviewers that are much smarter than I am, seeing how that's supposed to make you feel like you're reading one of Shirley's books, and yeah, it worked. There's a lot of moments where it's just this close-up of someone's face and it just kind of sits there while things are happening around them that are very important, but all you're seeing is their single expression. There's also other moments where something's just completely covering up the camera, whether it's like someone's hand or a face or whatever it may be, and you're trying to see what's going on in the background because that's supposed to be the focus of the shot, but instead you're just seeing it through a crowd. That along with just like a handheld camera, like I'm not even kidding, like a lot of the movie is just shot by someone holding a camera and just moving it around. It's a very specific type of mood that the director's going for in this movie, and yes, it works. It just makes you feel weird. It makes you feel like, I don't know how I'm supposed to pay attention. You just feel claustrophobic. You feel chaotic. And again, I can't really say like it's a bad movie. It's just like, I don't really know what I got out of it. It's very ambiguous, and even when you get to the end, you're questioning, like, did that actually happen, or did any of this movie happen? Because the conclusion that a lot of these characters come to, you're not really sure how they got to that point. I'm trying to give away no spoilers here, but there actually are, like, 2 or 3 different endings, and you're kind of just left to decide, like, what was real, what actually happened within that. I will say the best part of this movie, though, was Elisabeth Moss. First off, she looks incredible, just like the character of Shirley. And she is definitely the queen of just close-up, single, long takes of expressions. She nailed it in The Handmaid's Tale, and everything else she does is pretty much just as good. And coming off of The Invisible Man, I will say, like, she's definitely having the best year possible in Hollywood right now. But I don't know. It's free. It's on Hulu, so you can watch it. But I don't know if I would, like, specifically go out of my way recommending this to anyone. It's a film. That's the bottom line. It's art. Enjoyable? No. Art? Yes. Ultimately, I'm going to give this movie a 65 out of 100. That's going to be 3.5 stars if you follow me on Letterboxd, which you should. That's all I got. That's Shirley. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment below. Have you seen this movie? Do you have any interest, especially after hearing this glorious review? Subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you next time.